Hello, Marisa fans and enjoyers, and people just interested in Street Fighter tech in general. This is going to be the first in a series of videos that I'm going to be making about some very specific Marisa questions, because the game's been out for a few months now, and we already have a lot of great resources on her general game plan, what kind of combos you're looking for, max damage, best Oki situations, everything that you could want in the main goals of this character are pretty well documented. Big Bird is great, and Zach Henke is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to link them both in the description. They're great at explaining and providing a lot of evidence and resources for how to achieve all of Marisa's main goals. But I have found myself at this point coming along a lot of very specific questions. Like, what is the proper thing Marisa should be looking to do in niche scenarios? So, for the first one, to kind of explain what I'm talking about, I wanted to look at what Marisa should look for when interrupting things into an aerial tumble. So, for example, Cammy Hooligan right there. What's the answer? What should I really be looking to approach with and resolve when I stuff her out of it? Because this is a move that's designed for you to look out for it, catch it off, catch the Cammy when she's trying to catch you off guard. And what kind of reward can she get out of it? A lot of characters have full dedicated combos that they can do off of a standing jab. Ken is probably the most clear example, JP as well, that they can get a full follow-up whenever they catch something off of the light jab. And the main reason for that is how the actual air tumble mechanic itself works. So, the main thing about that is most moves will immediately take someone out of the tumble state and put them into a restand where you can't hit them anymore. Some moves don't have that property, and no moves have that property if they have the drive rush effect behind them. So like you just saw there, knee put her into a restand, and another jab kept her in the same hit stun. So you can continue that combo there. Marisa can't cancel her standing jab into a drive rush. She has to do that off of the target combo, which you can't do because the target combo won't land. So what can we do here? What kind of reward do we get here? A lot of the time, the only reward that I saw until I really looked into it a lot deeper is literally just a jab and then play off that Oki, or if you get a hard enough read on it and react fast enough, you can get a crouching fierce. You know, you can maybe interrupt it with Gladius, but I wanted to see if there was something kind of more consistent that she could get that would give her a better follow-up. So I found three answers that I'm very happy with, and I'm going to be talking about them all in detail now, and I'm also going to go over what moves you should look to use these things on, because it's not a total coverage. A lot of the things that put people into air tumble are better served with your other anti-airs. But what should we look to answer certain things with? So Cammy Hooligan, Ken's Dragon Lash, Dhalsim Teleport, a bunch of other options, and I'm going to talk about them in detail and the nuances of them, as well as what you should stray away from trying it against. So without further ado, we're going to get into the first of three options right now. So the first option we're going to be answering with is going to be a jab into a standing heavy kick on the way down, and then a drive rush behind that, because the standing heavy kick is one of the moves that will keep them in that tumble state. So instead of restanding them, you actually force the knockdown that can chase them behind that. It costs 1 bar to use, of course, because you're going to be using the drive rush for Oki. But the main caveat of that is it doesn't work mid-screen. So as you just saw there, so if I interrupt it and then, you know, I can have a pretty good chase on them, depending on the distance, there's actually going to be some variability with it, depending on the move that they use, how high they're hit out of it, how far they're hit out of it, and the screen positioning. But if they back roll, you don't get too consistent of an Oki. Sometimes you can chase with a standing heavy punch and it'll trade. Or if it's really close, maybe you can get... That's the other one. You know, standing jab, but that even still, that was too slow. But what you can do is if they're in the corner. This is a correct answer for it because they don't have anywhere to back roll. So if we do the same thing, you actually get a meaty charged back heavy punch if you catch them about at the point that you are looking to deny the jump anyways, right underneath the timer. Marisa wants to stand right about here to answer a jump out, something like that. You can pressure them pretty effectively. So this is a really good position for her in general, and this is where a lot of people will try to throw something you're not anticipating. So if you're ready for it, and you can be looking for this a lot more consistently now, you can punish an escape attempt at a hooligan, dragon lash, something like that to apply pressure to you with a jab, standing roundhouse, and then you get a full Oki charge back heavy punch, which is one of her best options because as you know, you can chase with this. There goes a bar and a half. You can just keep looping that if they respect it. It's one of her best Oki tools she can use because she's just so plus that you basically just don't have anything you can answer with unless they wake up with a reversal. But we're just talking about Oki here. So that's the first option. You're going to be looking for it in the corner. Or even if they're close enough to the corner. They don't actually need to be cornered themselves. They can be a little bit of ways away and you'll still be able to get generic Oki. So if we chase her, you know, over here, and then she does the same thing, then I managed to get the meaty one. So yeah, just keep an eye on out for that, and that's the solution you're going to be looking for in the corner. That's really effective. So the second option we're going to be talking about is actually leaning into the restand. This will make it work mid-screen, and what we're going to do is we're going to jab, forward heavy kick, and then instant drive rush cancel that, and that actually gives us a charge back heavy that hits meaty once they land from the restand. So that looks something like this. And it hits on the exact frame that they land. So it's a really good tool. It uses a bunch more drive gauge, but it still gives you that back heavy punch anywhere on screen, which is really good to have. So another very good tool in her arsenal that she can answer with that. It's not always consistent. Like I mentioned, that's kind of the nature of these air tumbles, is that there's so many variables into where they get hit that will change that kind of solution. So sometimes this doesn't even land. But for the most part, you should be... It's a very consistent answer against most of the moves I've tested it against. So if you're not finding success with that, then please let me know in the comments, because I feel pretty comfortable about that as an answer. Unless it lands really far at the tip of the jab, that they're going to be too low for this to land or too far away. But nonetheless, you get a really good pressure off of that. So that's the second option. That's going to be consistent pretty much in all similar cases that standing heavy kick will be. So the third option is the most consistent from what I've found, and also leads to the most damage behind it because you can do level 3 off of it. It's going to cost 2 bars for Oki if you want to do that instead of level 3. And what the answer is jab, drive rush, crouching light punch, which, like we said earlier, keeps them in that same tumble state so you can continue to combo them, and then medium kick quadriga, and then either take the Oki off of that or transition straight into level 3. So what that looks like is this. So a very respectable amount of damage. Of course, you are scaling your level 3 pretty heavily because it started off of a jab. and it even had the drive rush behind it, so it had extra scaling. But nonetheless, you know, threatening with a good 37% off of a stray jab on a Cammy trying something, or a Ken trying something, is a really good answer to that. You know, all of Marisa's good things at level 3, pushing them to the corner, dealing all that drive gauge damage. It's a very good answer there. And again, you can just accept the meaty off of medium kick Quadriga. Please watch Zach Henke's video off of proper Marisa Oki for a full explainer on that, but you basically get a lot of really good setups. You can get a meaty standing medium punch, crouching medium punch, standing medium kick. You get a lot of options you can do off of any of your Quadrigas. So, yeah, that is it's a little bit harder than the other ones to execute, and it may take some practice to get it consistently, but that is a really good answer across the board. But I think all three of them have their individual use cases. I think that the forward medium kick gives you a better kind of immediate surprise guess. And again, you can bait that out, because a lot of the times when people get restood, they're going to look to reversal that. So if I set Cammy to do that here, I guess that doesn't trigger there, but yeah, you can pretty successfully bait that out with that, or you can get the charge back heavy punch. And then the drive rush crouching light punch answer is pretty consistent across the board, and a really good answer. Works off both counter hit and punish counter. All of them do, but that does as well for crouching heavy punch, which we're going to talk about for a few characters. When you're going to want to use that instead, you still get that same combo. So those are the three main options. I think they're really good across the board, but now we're also going to go over the characters and moves that these are things that you may want to look for. So firstly, of course, is Cammy Hooligan, but then we're going to talk about the other moves that can work against. So let's get into that.